What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Stocks to Watch. And yes, checkmate. Bears got a big taste of their own medicine in the morning when the markets were, falling. Everyone thought, okay, today is the day when we start falling, and then we take a U-turn. And thanks to Bajaj Finance and the overall banking space, which shined again. I mean, if you look at, Federal Bank, if you look at all the other major banks, PNB, UCO Bank, I mean, every single bank did extremely well. And we're going to talk about that shortly in this particular episode. If you're new here, please consider liking and subscribing for more such content. Now, with that being said, let's quickly go and jump on to the watch list for the previous day, which was over here. So let me just quickly go here and let me show you the watch list for the previous day. So let's go here and let's hop onto the orange list. So we had these stocks on the radar and SDBL. I mean, what a move in Soam distilleries and breweries. I mean, this is pretty much expected if you follow this channel. We've been talking about this stock multiple times. We have spoken about this stock multiple times in the past as well, and the stock did extremely well. I mean, nice base, and post that multiple catalysts. I told you that Carlsberg, setting up their unit in Odisha, and then capacity utilization, very nice, market share grabbing. Everything was like, perfectly set up. And today we got an entry in SDBL and we captured a nice little move in SDBL. I'll just quickly show you the entry. This is where we had entered precisely over here, and then we got a nice little pop, and then we managed to exit somewhere around this candle around 293 areas. And yeah, it was a really, really nice trade. We actually planned to carry it, but I was thinking that, let's just lock in the gains because I've seen that stocks which have done, something similar to this, they're faded away the next day, and then it really takes you 4 to 5 days of consolidation again, and then the stock starts to move. So wanted to lock in profits, and SDPL has did extremely well. Apart from that, we also had a word about Avalon Technologies doing nice things, moved out of this range very beautifully. Again, we did not take this trade, but I think it was a solid move. Then we have Traxon. This stock was up, I think, 6% at one point. Yep, 8% at one point, and then it rolled over and then got rejected really badly. Endurance, another name that we had discussed yesterday. This was also up, I think, 6% at one point. Yeah, 8.5% up at one point in time, and then it just carried, it just started rollover. So the thing that I was talking about, being checkmate. So what really happened, I'll just quickly show you. Right, so this is the opening day of the market, and what you saw over here is this entire range. Everyone was like thinking, okay, maybe we've got a correction here, maybe this is time to short. A lot of people must have shorted as well. All of that being said, we filled the gap, and then we made a new all-time high. And what we also did is we trapped a lot of people on the long side over here, ultimately to go down. So again, bears were trapped today, and I think the pain is going to be very, very, very strong and hard for everyone. And just look at Nifty's chart, and you just can clearly see how strong we are. And this has happened previously as well. So I'll just show you. The last time when it happened in Nifty, when we had major gap ups, which led to a new all-time high. I think it was this region. So we did continue very nicely towards the top, and again we created a fresh new high after that, meaning that the markets are still resilient, they're still strong. But what I believe is that the markets need a break. What I mean by that is that the markets need a consolidation very, very soon, very, very quickly. Otherwise, we are going to have a massive correction, and that's going to be very painful to see. So let's move ahead, and let's move on to the stocks that are going to be ready for today. So all of these stocks didn't really trigger an entry. Delta Corp is one name we tried to trade, but our stop loss got triggered. Apart from that, Fortis was another name that I was tracking very actively because the healthcare stocks have done really well. The Fortis did not really trigger an entry, but I expect this to trigger an entry very soon. And the entire healthcare space is good. I will be covering that towards the end of the video. So with that being said, let's quickly jump on to the list for today, and I'll just give me 1 minute. All right. So this is the watch list for 4th July. I'll just save it. I usually mark it with labels and then I can convert it into a watch list. Okay, so Federal Bank. I mean, this is one name that we took a trade on today. I mean, I did take a trade on this, and this is wonderful. I'll be breaking down this trade very soon. So I got in somewhere around here. So this is the exact place where I got in. exactly on this candle, and I booked my gain somewhere around this candle. So I scalped a 2.5, 3 point move, although it did move really well, but I was getting a good risk to risk to reward ratio. It was up 40,000. So I was like, okay, why no, why to risk a lot of money? Because I mean, the thing was, banks had already moved, and Federal Bank was one of the stocks that did not move. So that was the reason for booking it a little early. Now let's come on and discuss the stocks that we will be looking out for tomorrow. So Federal Bank definitely comes onto that list because I think the strength could continue going forward tomorrow, and this is primarily only for from an intraday purpose. I think I'm not going to be trading this on a swing perspective because I think the move is pretty much done, and I think that applies to all the banks. Even when I'll talk about IOB, even when I'll talk about Central Bank of India, this will apply for all banks. Banks are not ready for swings now. I think what we need from banks is an intraday move. Take your profits and get the hell out of there. Next stock that's on my radar is MedPlus, again from the hospital space, from the nursing and hospital space, and this is a drugstore chain. So, moving very nicely, although we had a 5% move, but I think this is a small cap, can probably move another 10% from here. A nice volume pop, subdued consolidation, and then two volume pops over here. So I think this is definitely something that's going to be on my radar, both for swing and intraday. Obviously, this is not a very liquid stock, so intraday might not be possible, but I think for swings, it definitely is very good. Next up is IOB, Indian Overseas Bank, and another banking, name. And just look at the chart over here, right? It's pretty, it's beautiful, right? So just draw a simple straight line. And again, we're not trying to trade breakouts here. So we try to trade before the breakout. For those of you who are just joined the channel, or if you are new. Right, so we've seen multiple contractions here, and we've seen that the volume spikes have been pretty much very strong. And if the banking plays continue tomorrow, I think this is going to be one of the most important stocks to watch out for. So IOB is definitely going to be on my radar. Now, SJS is another name. Now, this stock we've been tracking multiple times. It never really triggered an entry, but I think tomorrow is the day where it could start triggering the entry. The stock is trading above these important highs. I think I've reiterated multiple times when we're playing something in SJS, we're trying to play a very big base. So we've got a very big base. Now we've got a mini base above that, and we've got a decent closing over here. So I think this gives me all the reasons to be interested in SJS Enterprises, and I think this is going to give a solid move tomorrow. So I'm at least going to be expecting that from SJS. So this is definitely something to be on my radar. Next up is KEC International. This is a risky name to play because this stock has kind of cheated multiple times. And what I believe has happened in the stock is the shakeout is done, volume pops here, and then we're kind of creating a U-shaped base, and then we're going to start popping up and spiking again. So I think this is also very, very interesting, and this is also near its, I think it's all-time highs. Yes, it has broken all the previous highs. It is also near its all-time highs, and I think there could be a good solid action in KEC. It's a little risky one, but I think this could definitely do the trick. Now, TV18 Broadcast, another very interesting name. The reason is very simple. The stock moved up really nicely, came into this area of demand, created a small little tiny narrow like a base, very small volumes in consolidation, tried to pop up and try to spike from here. And then I think we can expect some action, from this point onwards tomorrow as well in this stock. Now, this stock has done something like this multiple times, even before. So this stock really does, react to these areas of demand. And another thing is Reliance and the deal with forgot the name of the company. I think it was Bodhi Tree Solutions. So I think that deal is the reason why all of this action is happening. And if you see, there has been lots of volume spikes, so there's been lots of buying activity here. So again, not the perfect setup over here, but this is definitely something to watch out for. Not my favorite name, but I think there could be some action in this. Next up is Central Bank of India, and again, this is a very, very interesting name, and I think looks pretty much picture perfect. This also is doing something similar to Indian Overseas Bank, and I think there's lots of room for this to play out of this entire range. This has been a severe underperformer for a long period of time after this big impulse. I think we're creating a nice base to, start moving ahead. Now, even though banks are a little extended, I think these are the stocks which haven't really participated in the broader rally. And I think even if Nifty Bank Nifty starts to fall tomorrow, or maybe, in the days to come, I think they will still be resilient because of the overall structure that they've created. So I think that's going to be very interesting to watch. Next up is Shriram Finance. Now, after the Piramal demerger and, the value unlocking, all of that happening, stock gaps up, creates a base, and then is ready to spike ahead again now. So I think this is also a very interesting name that I'll be looking to watch out for tomorrow. Next up is UCO Bank, another name that we have been discussing a lot of times. Although I would prioritize Central Bank and Indian Overseas Bank over UCO Bank, but I think this is also ready, high volume spikes, and it has tried to even get all the buyers from here as well. So I think this is also another name that could start spiking. Now again, you can see banks are again and again, and PSU banks especially are coming up again and again in the watch list because they're setting up in a really nice way. So please do watch out for these names. I mean, they're very, very interesting. Now, one name which is not my typical style of trading, but I saw Delivery create a very nice base, right? So Delivery has been an underperformer, created a very nice, very wide base, fake out done, liquidity grabs done, coming into the fair value gap over here, and then right now, doing something. Now, I'm not really sure that this is going to pop up tomorrow, but I think in a day or two, I think this could start moving because we have a nice little base. We've got good solid volume action as well. So could be something that I would be interested in. Another name is Card Trade. I mean, Nomura released a note, and based off that, the stock, initially made a very big pop, corrected a little bit and creating a mini base. Now, I don't really like to trade these bases in the middle of a range, but we have a scarcity of good setups for swing trading. So this basically comes just because of the fact that I really don't have a lot of stocks to share with you because slowly and steadily we're getting exhausted as a market. So yeah, I mean, this is also something that I'll definitely be watching out for. And next up is Kowai. Now, Kowai Medical Center, another hospital stock, doing really well. Create moved out of this range, and it's with moved with good volumes, absorbed lots of supply here as well. So I think this is pretty much ready to move on the upside. Now you might be wondering, why am I talking about hospital stocks? So let me just show you what's happening in the healthcare space. So I'll just go to hospital and healthcare, and I'll just show you what's happening. So look at Aster DM up 13%, right? Aster DM had solid action, and same way we've got Medanta, we've got Rainbow Children's Hospital, Apollo Hospitals also did decently. I mean, this could also be something to watch out for, but not the best. Narayana Hridayalaya, even this was up, barely in the green, but this has already moved up previously. Kowai is the reason, that's the reason Kowai was in the watch list. So more or less, these are the names that I'm going to be tracking out for. My favorite ones are SJS. I think then Central Bank and IOB both come into the same category, and then maybe Card Trade. It's a tricky one, but maybe this starts popping up. So that was it from my side. I hope you enjoyed the watch list, and please do hit the like button. It helps the YouTube algorithm, and drop me a comment if you traded something from the previous watch list, or if there's anything specific you want me to cover in this YouTube channel. And I wish you all the best for your trading day tomorrow. I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye, and take care.